Our friends over at Viz Media sent me an early copy of the Dragon Ball Super Manga Volume 1, now finally released in English, which covers Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapters 1 through 9, written and illustrated by Toyotaro based on an original story by Toriyama himself. This covers the entire Battle of Gods arc from the manga, as well as the first half or so of the Universe 6 tournament, and practically mirrors its Japanese counterpart for their collected volume 1. It's almost identical with a few small differences. Now, the reason why there is no Resurrection F version of the manga is because Toyotaro actually did do a very brief 3-chapter Resurrection F promotional manga back in April of 2015 to promote the Resurrection F movie, and this was before Dragon Ball Super was ever conceived, and thus it's not a part of Dragon Ball Super, and Shueisha felt that it would be a little bit repetitive to have Toyotaro do Resurrection F again, even though in the original 3-part manga that was featured in V-Jump, he never actually finished the Resurrection F story. But still, for the Dragon Ball Super manga, it does skip the Resurrection F part and briefly mentions it in both the Japanese and in the English versions. We are unsure as of this recording as to whether or not Viz is going to get their hands on those original 3 Resurrection F manga chapters. We don't know, but we do know that in Japan, those have not been collected and released outside of the original V-Jump publications. And much like the Resurrection F 3-parter, the Dragon Ball Super manga itself was originally conceived to be just promotional material for the anime. It was something that Toyotaro was hired to do to promote the anime and to get everybody hyped up for upcoming arcs, but after some time, the manga appears to have had a mind of its own, allowing Toyotaro to kind of expand beyond just that and create his own version of the story, which features various differences between its anime counterpart, which we've all talked about since the manga originally came out. Now, the lovely Miss DBZ Babe sent me a copy of the Japanese version of Volume 1 of the Dragon Ball Super manga way back months ago as a gift, so I can actually compare it to the Viz release, and believe it or not, the Viz release is actually superior. Not only is the Viz release a little bit bigger than the original Japanese one, a little bit easier to hold, but it also contains a special bonus interview with Toyotaro and Toriyama from the spring of 2016, in addition to a foreword from the two authors. Now, when it comes to the translation, this does of course coincide with the Viz translations of the past. If you've read the Dragon Ball manga and the Dragon Ball Z manga, you are of course aware of how Viz translates things. For example, you have things like Hercule being used in the manga, but also they chose to go with Genki Dama for the Spirit Bomb. So there are, it's a different translation than from the anime. It's different than what Crunchyroll uses and Daisuke uses on their subtitle versions of Super, and it's going to be different than the Funimation Blu-rays, which have Steve Simmons working on it. So the thing about being in Dragon Ball and being a Dragon Ball fan is you have to deal with these different translations. Of course, Viz does use Vegerat as well. It's just something you have to just kind of understand as a fan, and most hardcore fans understand that the Genki Dama is the Spirit Bomb and that Hercule is Mr. Satan. It's pretty obvious at this point, but I do understand how some casual fans who have only watched one version, like for example if they only watched Kai or the Z dub or the Ocean dub or read the manga, can get confused, but it should be pretty easy to figure out for most people, I would say. One thing that they did include in this, which I didn't think they were going to, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it, is the bonus pages from Toyotaro. It's got the extra little pages, like for example, when Krillin imagines Frost in his second form. That wasn't in the original V-Jump version of that manga chapter. That was only in the collected volume. Viz got it. So Viz's version is almost identical, like I said, to the collected Japanese one, and it even has the bonus chapter where Goku goes to Namek to try to wish Kai-Osama, King Kai, back to life, who is referred to as the Lord of Worlds in this manga, just like how he was in the old Dragon Ball manga. It's just the Viz translation, of course, that's in here as well. So my honest review on this is that this is totally worth it. It's about $10. It's really inexpensive. You get 9 chapters, some of the best Toyotaro work. He is the closest to mimicking Toriyama's style, as well as all the additional Easter eggs that he throws into the manga that were not in the anime version for the hardcore fans. A lot of people like the manga of Super more than the anime. This is your chance to own it. It's only $10. It's worth it. And I loved, and enjoyed reading this. I zipped through it in like just a couple of hours. And so check it out. I will leave links down below to where you can purchase the manga from Viz. Also, check out my review of the One Punch Man Season 1 Blu-ray set that they sent me. Another quality release. The best way to own One Punch Man is with the limited edition Blu-ray. If you're going to watch the anime, it's the best. Thank you guys so very much for watching my review, and get your copy of the first volume of the Dragon Ball Super manga now in English for us all to read. And guess what? Volume 2 should be coming very soon. I'll talk to you guys later.